Calling this meeting to order. Town of Pelletier, 6 o'clock Monday, March the 9th. Can we have roll call, please?
Colleen Thomas.
Here.
Ronald Morgan.
Here.
Ricky Jones.
Here.
Haley Renson.
Here.
Cameron Watson.
Here. Miss Alice, could you give us an invocation, please?
Heavenly Father, as we come to you tonight, we thank you for the beautiful day that you have given us. And we thank you for the interest of each and every person that is here. We ask that you guide and direct us to take care of the things that is beneficial for this town and pleasing unto you. All of this we ask in your precious and loving name.
All right, has everyone looked over the agenda for tonight? And is there any questions? If not, I would need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Everybody's got a look at it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion is carried. I got the minutes from last month. Has everybody read through the minutes and see, make sure everything is kosher? And if so, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from last month.
I make a motion to approve them.
I'll second
Approve the
that.
minutes.
All in favor?
Aye. Who's second?
We have approval of the minutes from last month. So let's move on to commercial applications and new business. Commercial applications for 58 boat storage expansion. Mr. Ryan, would you like to speak on that?
It's just a continuation of what we've been doing for years and hopefully try to keep up with the growth. We've been maxed out for several years, so.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that you have the applicant stand at the podium.
Mind hitting the
I'm sorry.
podium there.
Okay.
You're like me, you don't want to get up.
His address.
I'm sorry. We've been in business there up the street there, Highway 58 boat and RV storage for going on 20 years.
Can you introduce yourself and tell us your address, please?
It's 1785, possibly 1801. We can't get it straight, but it
Gotcha.
comprises that. Anyways, we've been moving along and hopefully decent neighbors, and so we'd like to expand and at some point, and the first step in the expansion is to get approval from the town. If you come in or you'd like to stop in anytime anybody has them, you're welcome to. It's just an expansion of one more big metal building, basically to house RVs and boats, and/or no electricity, no water.
Does anybody have a question for Mr. Ryan?
I didn't mean to go on and on, I'm just
No,
saying.
you're
You've had a couple
good.
of cases, that's
You're
all.
good.
Where he's at now, is already zoned, he can put another building up?
Yeah, he's right down here.
Right.
Yeah.
Please don't confuse us with.
Yeah, you're on this
address.
side up here.
It'll all be on the same property. He's not expanding his property. He's just upgrading what
What he's
property he
already got
has,
here.
yes.
So I'm assuming it's just open storage now, and you're going to put a building that just,
It's the same as what we've been doing over
Yeah.
in front,
You got
Yeah.
a few there already.
just
Yeah.
exactly like.
I remember when it first started.
yeah.
Pardon?
That's how I remember when it first started. Yeah, so it's definitely, that's a good expansion.
We've got lots of room and
Anybody have any more questions?
It says here that some of the information was that was required in section 1207 wasn't filled out.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
It says here
in the
that
world,
some
sorry.
some of the information that was required in section 1207 was not filled out And you didn't get a registered engineer surveyor, is there a reason for that?
It's already been surveyed and checked by the county several times for all the other previous structures we've made. There was no reason to get it resurveyed.
Okay.
To get a building permit, what they have in the past is just required to show the corners, stakes.
I think that we are gonna be asking for a new survey though, just because it's part of what the ordinance is. And then we'd still send it to the commissioner, just ask for a revision on a couple of things, that's it.
Okay, can I,
That Carlton can give us a little explanation on that.
Would you like me to go through my report?
Oh, no, not all, not just the last section where you're 1207, you're requiring him to have a engineered survey.
Yes, let me see. So the zoning ordinance has a section 1207 titled application requirements for commercial and industrial zoning permits. It's pretty much anything that's not a residential use has to, where you submit an application for a use that's permitted by right, I guess even for special uses. You'd have to meet these requirements for the permit application. So at the beginning, I believe at the beginning of that section, or somewhere in that section, a site plan, not a survey necessarily, but a site plan prepared, stamped, and endorsed by a registered engineer, surveyor, or other person duly authorized by the state to practice as such is required. So the submitted site plan was not prepared by a registered engineer, surveyor, or other person authorized by the state. And then there is a list of requirements for the site plan. This is basically taken from the ordinance. Let's see, present recorded owner and map book reference of the site property. There's not a clear reference to ownership or, the map book reference. Let's see, owners, lot numbers, or map book and page reference of all adjacent properties. That's not provided. Boundary of the entire lot by course and distance. So I believe the distance is provided in some areas. Course is not provided. Course is basically direction. Not all distances are provided. The application references two parcels, which are 1801 Highway 58 and 1776 Highway 58. However, the site plan appears to include another parcel, I believe in the back, further away from 58. It's a 2.5 acre parcel. I put the PIN number in the report directly behind the 1777 Highway 58 parcel. Highway 58 right-of-way width is not provided. Let's see. Existing easements are not provided. Let's see. Iron pins, that's not really relevant since this is an existing parcel. Plan drawn to at least 1 inch equals 60 feet scale and showing a north arrow. So I believe that's provided. Scale isn't clear. Judging by the size of the scanned PDF, the scale is not in the size requirement. Buildings are not in scale per applicant. So let's see. Sidewalks are not relevant, those aren't necessary. Topographic features of the lot, existing grades, that information is not provided. There's notation about flood zone subject to change, that's not provided. Let's see, no other underground utilities noted, that's no issue. Let's see, proposed building type, that is provided, building will be metal. Proposed first floor elevation shall be shown, that's not provided. Let's see, all sidewalks and curbs within the site, not necessary. Location of sanitary sewer facility connection, that's not applicable. Let's see, nothing else is finished grade, that's not provided. Nothing else is really recommended on here. The main thing is a site plan, not a survey, a site plan that shows the proposed structure. We need that, and
That was provided along with the application.
yes,
There's a site plan.
oh, yeah, I got you. A site plan prepared, stamped, and endorsed by a registered engineer, surveyor, or other person duly authorized by the state to practice as such. So, let's see what we have. So this was authorized by that. Was this done by a surveyor?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So yeah, that's the main, that's the main issue. So I would recommend conditional approval if we can get a revised application that meets the requirements of section 1207. That's my staff recommendation to
Basically, we want a site plan of the new building done by an engineer
or surveyor.
or surveyor. All right.
it's always been my understanding that that will be done in the past when we applied for a building permit. Did not know that was required, never has been in the past, and everything else we've done.
Yeah,
There
and,
was nothing like that was ever asked before, so I didn't know that was something you want for a Pelletier permit, but I know it has to be done for a building permit.
We typically provide a checklist of requirements for a commercial permit. In fact, part of that checklist was included on the submitted application. This information was provided.
Bill?
Yeah, Mr. Ryan,
Sure.
a lot of things changed in 2021. What was it, 160D
Yes, sir.
had changed a lot of things that the towns have to do and require. So anyhow, I'm not saying this is part of it, but since we bought a planner one, everything's kind of done by that new requirement from the state. So I think what they're trying to do is pass this with you getting an engineer or a surveyor to sign the site plan. Then that way it won't hold you up. It'll come before the commissioners next month. And then it doesn't need to go before the commissioners.
Yes, it can go, right, it needs to go to the commissioners. It does not have to go back to the planning board.
Okay, well, see, then that way, if they decide to pass it,
Yeah.
then you're still on track for next month to go before the commissioners. So you'll have, until our next meeting to have that survey done or site plan done, and then we can have it on our agenda next month, the commissioners' agenda.
I may have to ask for an extension, I don't know, to get an engineer / surveyor to approve, even though they've approved it before. I don't know if I can get that done in that timely manner, so.
Okay.
Who's your surveyor? Who's your surveyor?
Prestige has done some surveying. Rawls.
Prestige, I'm not sure if you talk to Prestige, tell them what's going on, they can get it done.
And then just quickly, I'd like to, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make sure that we stay on topic here. What's in front of the board tonight is not the issue whether to kick it down the road or not. The board is obviously, they're going to vote on whether to recommend this to be considered by the Board of Commissioners. And then the Board of Commissioners can either hear it next month, or they can decide to table it if they want to kick it down the road, if there's more information needed. But just for tonight, the planning board, you're considering whether the application as provided or with contingencies is something that you could recommend to the Board of Commissioners.
Right, and that was our intention, talking with Colin earlier. Does anyone have any problem with recommending passing this on to the commissioners with the recommendation that he has a survey application by engineers? He will present it to the commissioner board.
Yeah, I don't see a problem. Having a nice list for you to know what you need to get would be great, because by the time we leave out of here, I know I might forget every little thing you need to kind of save on some time. Now, with this, if it's since a pre-existing business and operation, what you were reading, Carlton, was that for a new?
That's a good question. The ordinance doesn't distinguish between a new facility or an expansion. Now, so I'm erring on the side that there should be a site plan that would at least, show the exact dimensions of the new structure.
Gotcha.
Now, there are other requirements in here that are specific to new construction, which is basically not applicable to this application. And I've taken that into consideration.
Gotcha, okay.
But yeah, I wish there could be an abbreviated process for this, but the ordinance simply doesn't have that right now.
Just in case he wanted to expand again in the future, just to have a simpler
Yes.
process, since if he's already zoned for the operation he has on that property.
Yeah, and there's no problem, there's no issues with the proposed use at all. It's perfectly fine, the proposed use is fine. I would be happy to work directly with the surveyor engineer and look at drafts to make sure that everything that's required by the ordinance is on here. So, to speed the process up.
All right, do I have a motion to recommend and pass this on to the commissioners with the understanding that he'll present them with a survey by engineered registered
I'll motion
surveyor?
that.
Do I have a motion?
I'll motion that.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have a motion and it's passed for the recommendation and basically all you need to do is get a survey done for the structure that you're gonna put up and anything else Carlton would require, he will fill you in on that.
Survey of the structure, but not a survey of the entire.
Basically just a site plan, and refer the surveyor or engineer to me.
All right, we're good with that then. Any other questions?
Just, I know this isn't certified by an engineer / what have you, but it was drawn in on the initial application as size, proximity, and so forth. It still would obviously have to fall into whatever the county's setback rules were and so forth, and it's way beyond any of that.
Yeah.
It's kind of sitting out in no man's land by dimensions, and so.
And my understanding is with the application being put in, you have up to a year
Okay.
before you have to reapply and pay another fee. So,
That's good.
I just was a little perplexed, so we gotta try to get this all done by the next meeting. It's a strong possibility that people are busy and it's just not gonna happen. Now, if it'll just sit pat for a year, then I'll certainly be able to get something done, but I think my hands are tied as far as 30 days goes and so.
right,
And just to clarify, the time for expiration doesn't start till the development approval. So it would be whenever the board of commissioners approves a site plan, that's when we would count for.
right. All right, thank you, Mr. Ryan.
Okay. So you can hang out. What you don't want me to.
All right, moving on to item 2, planning board training, section 1 and 2. I think Carlton's gonna lead us in that,
Just a second.
and that was this paperwork that is in here.
Please give me the rest of them.
What's that up there?
Did you get mine too?
I don't know, what's going on?
I'm having a technical issue. Give me just a second. I'm sorry, Al.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, I thought it'd be helpful since we have so many planning board members that, do basically a refresher for the planning board. And this is a training that I did on August 1st, 2023. It's been a while. And, I wanted to go over it. I didn't want to I didn't want to go through the entire training tonight, especially because we only have about 10 more minutes before the commissioners meeting. So we're going to go just section by section. And the point of this is to just kind of remind or refresh or to teach the board about planning board responsibilities. So the background, let's see, legal context, let's go slide 3. So local governments, they have no inherent power. The state government creates local governments, and they operate under charters that are granted, I can do that. Oh, okay, awesome. That are granted by the state. So, let's see. So yeah, in North Carolina, local governments do not have a broad delegation of authority, or what we call, it's known as home rule. So slide 4, that'll be the next page. So local government's powers come from the general, basically come from the General Assembly. General Assembly defines what a local government can do. So you have general law that applies to all, or a class of local governments, and then you have local acts that are laws made by the General Assembly that apply to specific local governments, or specific groups of local governments. And then you also have powers that could be defined in a charter that, that has to be approved by the General Assembly.
And essentially the point Trump is getting to is all the power that the town has, it derives from the state. The state provides the town, the county with its power.
Yeah, thank So yeah, and then the broad construction statute gives local governments broad applied powers as well. And that, I'll read that. It's the policy of the General Assembly of the cities of the state shall have adequate authority to execute powers, duties, privileges, and immunities conferred upon them by law. So this in the provisions of this chapter of city charter shall be broadly construed, and grants of power should be construed to include any additional and supplementary powers that are reasonably necessary or expedient to carry them into executionary effect, provided the exercise of such additional or supplementary power shall not be contrary to state or federal law or the public policy of the state. So, you know, there's, just because it's not spelled out in state law doesn't mean that the local government is not allowed to do it. So there's constraints. The General Assembly can also define what a local government cannot do. And preemptive legislation creates restrictions. One example in North Carolina is no city ordinance may prohibit the sale of soft drinks above a particular size. And they also have to look at requirements or conflicts with other state and federal law. You have constitutional limits in the state constitution and in the federal constitution, and then you have case law at the state and federal level. So on slide 6, chapter 160A has the city of the North Carolina General Statutes has city enabling statutes. And this gives cities the authority for general ordinance making power. But then you have statutes covering specific ordinances. So if you look at the next page, removal and disposal of junk and/or abandoned motor vehicles. So a city may by ordinance prohibit the abandonment of motor vehicles on public streets or on public or private property within the city, and may enforce any such ordinance by removing and disposing of junk or abandoned motor vehicles according to the procedures prescribed in this section. So you'll have statutes for specific types of ordinances that cover specific topics. These can include definitions, like the state definition, what is an abandoned motor vehicle, what's a junk motor vehicle, what are the procedures for removing these types of vehicles, and other directions, clarifications, and exemptions. Then the next page, page 8, there's a few other examples of statutes covering specific types of ordinances. You have 168-193, abatement of public health nuisances. You have 168-184 for noise regulation. And I mean, that's the entire statute right now. It just says a city may by ordinance regulate, restrict, prohibit production or emission of noises or amplified speech, music, or other sounds that tend to annoy, disturb, or frighten citizens. So some are pretty straightforward, and others can get into more detail. Other ordinances mentioned under 168 include flea markets, itinerant merchants, begging, places of amusement, keeping and treatment of animals, discharge of firearms, pellet guns, and abatement of public health nuisances and curfews. Let's see. There's also limitations on specific ordinances under Chapter 168 that include or not limited to things like collection of rainwater and the requirements for farms. So basically the background summary of this, last page of this section, local governments, North Carolina, are delegated authority by the General Assembly. This includes a general grant regulatory authority. It also includes regulatory authority concerning specific topics. So we always have to be mindful of state and federal laws. And I think that we'll stop there for today, since we're running low on time. But next meeting we'll cover chapter 162 specifically. Yeah, Any questions?
No? Any questions on the board?
Thank you for putting this together.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
All right, moving on, we have public comment, 3 minutes. Do we have anybody who wants to make any comments? I guess we have no problem tonight, then. Old business, personnel policies. I think we have, tabled this until the,
Can it be a motion to remove that for the time being?
or the
I think it can just be removed from.
personnel policies, yeah.
I think it was tabled, if I recall correctly, and be even correct on this based on the minutes, it was tabled without a definite date set. If it's tabled without a definite date set, it can be removed from the agenda until the planning board decides to move, for a hearing on it. But if it was tabled with a specific date, say if it was tabled to the March meeting, then we'll need to table it indefinitely.
So we can't remove that from the agenda?
It was tabled. I would recommend doing a motion tonight, if you plan to remove it from the agenda, to table indefinitely.
Okay. Do I have a motion to table the personnel policy
I'll
from
motion.
the agenda?
I'll second that.
Have a second?
Indefinitely.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I have a motion to remove the personnel policy indefinitely until other time. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion is carried to remove other business, none at this time. Planning board comments,
Yeah, I don't have any at this one time.
I don't have any.
Haley,
Nope.
I don't have any.
Ricky, Colleen. All right, everybody's good. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carried. We are now adjourned.